So, as promised, in the spirit of Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, whatever other holidays that happened this year, mostly Festivus actually. That's the big one. Um, I hinted a couple emails ago that I was going to give you guys a little gift today about content creation, creativity, and how to simplify, or at least how I've been able to simplify the process for myself. And this is stuff that I've shared with all of my one-on-one apprentices, but I think it's been very helpful for me, for them, and I think it's useful for anyone who writes emails, creates social media content, articles, any of your marketing materials, or any content that goes along with your business. Um, and the biggest impact that it's had on me is it's more or less put creativity, content creation, and writing on autopilot. And so I started piecing together this process with the help of Alicia back in, it was May or June, so, rough math, about 7 months ago. And there's three parts to it. So the first part is idea generation, the second is storytelling, and then the third part is creation. So I'm going to go through, or in this video, I'm going to go through each of those three parts, explain what happens in each one, what that looks like when I actually sit down at the computer, and then share some ideas with you on how you can take this and adapt it for your own purposes. So, as with anything to do with creative work, you have to have ideas. If you don't have ideas, you got nothing to create. And one of the big stumbling blocks that a lot of people have when it comes to writing or creating anything is they feel like they don't have ideas, or that their ideas aren't very good. And what I've learned, not just in the last 7 months, but in the 4 years really that I've been writing consistently, is idea generation is definitely a skill. I think it's like most things where there's a spectrum of like good to great ideas, and I might fall here and be able to improve this much. You might fall here and be able to improve this much, or there's someone over here who's just got the best ideas all the time ever. But it's, regardless of where you fall, it's something that you can improve at if you have, if you create a bit of a deliberate practice or a ritual around it. So what this idea generation practice looks like for me is I have a Google Doc strictly for ideas. And you could do this in a journal or on a notepad or whatever, but I like to have it in a doc so it's easier to travel with, less books and everything, and it's easy to go through and leave little notes and comments on it, and to review them and everything. But yeah, so when I go into this doc each day, I plan to spend 10 to 20 minutes for the most part, and my goal is to come up with 3 ideas. And there's no boundaries around what these ideas have to do with. Typically, they'll be, I pretty heavily favor ideas for articles, ideas for stories, ideas for emails, and then things like newsletter topics, or ideas for offers that I want to create. That's probably about what 80% of the ideas fall into. The other 20% it could be anything. Sometimes it'll be just random thoughts I want to get out of my head, down on paper. Sometimes it'll even be things that I need to do that day or that week. It could be a reminder to reach out to an old client, see if they need help with a project, follow up with people, text someone I haven't spoken to in a while. So yeah, about 80% business oriented stuff, 20% whatever's running through my head. So I'll do that each day, and then after I make the new ones, I will go back to the previous day and assess them. Because obviously every idea that you come up with, not everyone is going to be worth pursuing. But you don't know until you give yourself some time to forget about the idea and go back when you can look at it more objectively and just see how you feel about it. So what's happened a lot with, one day I think I'll have what's a great email idea or for an article. I'll let it sit or I'll write it down, I'll flesh it out a bit, I'll let it sit, and then I'll come back to it and read through it, think about it, and just see how it makes me feel. And if I'm excited, if I think, oh yeah, that's a great idea, then I run with it. But there's generally an equal chance that it doesn't do much for me, and in that case, I don't can it, but I put it on the back burner, and every now and then I'll go through the stuff on the back burner, but generally if I'm not excited about it, I don't pursue it. And so the idea generation, or as you do this each day, you just get better and better at coming up with new ideas. And like I said, that's for anyone who writes, for anyone who creates, you need these ideas to build off of. And the ideas, they do build into the rest of this process, because the second part is a story of some kind. And this is a chance to start experimenting a little bit more with the ideas from the first step. So sometimes it could be the start of an email, a piece of a sales letter, just something that I want to get out and share either with you guys or on social media, or sometimes even just to have for myself. And it's really just a chance to get in daily practice of keeping my writing, my storytelling, my creativity sword sharp. In terms of like length or duration, this isn't something that I devote too much time to, because it can be pretty easy to get carried away and then run out of time and energy to work on projects or deal with clients and everything. Yeah, so it's probably about 20 to 30 minutes I'll spend creating a story about one of the ideas that I was excited about. And then that typically will result in the first draft or the foundation for something that I'll come back to and build off of later. And similar to how after coming up with the new ideas, I go look at the previous days, I try to do the same thing here. Is I'll make the new story for this day, and then I'll go back to the one from the day prior and review it, edit it, get some opinions on it, and see if it's something that's worth completing and polishing up. And there's actually quite a few parallels from the ideas to the stories, but it's the same thing. Not all of them turn out well. Like there's a lot of stuff I've written in there that will never see the light of day, but then there's also some amazing stuff that's come out of it. But again, if you do this each day, and you can't help but create cool shit that people like to read. All right, so that's the ideas, that's the story. And then the third part is, so those first two, I suggest that to all of my apprentices, and I'd recommend that for you as well if you found you've been struggling with idea generation, content generation. Those two are they've been so productive for me. Like since I started this 7 months ago, the storytelling document it's about 150 pages long. Obviously, if you put that together, like there's no semblance of story from start to finish, but that 20 to 30 minutes a day has basically resulted in what amounts to a decent sized book within 6-7 months. So it's a really powerful way of looking at the impact of just doing a little bit each day on something. All right, so the third part of this is a lot more creative and a lot more individual. And so I have a few documents that I will rotate through basically. One of them is letters to myself. One is Seinfeld fan fiction. And I cannot remember what the third one is. The third one, let that car go by. The third one actually is emails themselves. The same emails that you guys see a couple times each week. And so I will just pick one of those on any given day. I'll try to roll through them. Like Monday will be emails, Tuesday will be the fan fiction, Wednesday will be the letters to self, and then just repeat that. And this is just a chance to take the bits and pieces from the idea and the stories and then turn them into a finished product that I can actually get out, or at least that's in the case of the emails. In the case of the Seinfeld fan fiction, that is something that I work on mostly for fun. When I finally finish the first one, that's going to end up on Medium and you guys will see it. But for now, I haven't published any of those. And then the letters to self are completely for me for now, but that might change depending on how they pan out. But yeah, that's basically how automated isn't the word, because I still have to sit down every day and do this hour or so of work, but committing to doing that each day has allowed me to essentially automate the fact that I write each day, that I practice generating ideas each day, and that I'm creating each day. And if you do this, well, even if you did this 5 days a week, it takes about an hour, your ideas will be sharper, your storytelling will be better, and you'll never run out of content, and you'll never feel like you're short for ideas. And it's truly one of the most impactful processes that I've put together in the coming up on 4 years now that I've been doing this whole internet business thing. And I'm constantly tweaking it and adjusting it, but it's not going anywhere. And it's really it's been responsible for anything and everything that you have read from me, at least in the last 7 months, and everything that's to come in 2020 and beyond. All right, that is it. If you have any questions about this process or anything, just reply. Or you can leave a comment in the YouTube video, or you can just send me an email with a reply. That's it. Thanks for watching.